What's up, guys? Welcome back to Mike It Yourself. In this week's video, we're going to take care of two things. So the first thing is actually a suspension problem, I'm guessing, that I'm having. So if you follow my channel, you know that I posted a short that showed my rear tire was feathered really bad. I swapped out tires. I went from, I'll be right up. I went from Dunlop to Shinko. I've used Shinko for a while now. I've never had a problem with any of their tires, and I know they're known to be cheap tires. I get it, right? Like, so I know. Anyhow, went to that tire, had it mounted, balanced at a shop, put it back on the bike, and I noticed a little bit of sway in the rear of the bike if I broke 80 miles an hour. It's kind of weird. It wasn't like death wobble kind of weave. It was more like riding on the freeway and the grates are a little bit thicker, or you're crossing over like a seam on the freeway. It kind of felt a little bit like that. So anyhow, trying to figure out what's going on, and here's what I've come down to is I believe the swing arm bushings on my bike are either bad or just old, and the bike didn't have a lot of mileage on it when I bought it. It's 2017, so I think it's just age playing into this, if anything, but we're gonna test that out. I'm putting in some of these stabilizers that I found online by a company called Alloy Art. Let's take a look at them and we'll get into this. I'll explain it a little bit more, but yeah, let's check it out. All right, so these are the swing arm reinforcement bushings. So the company that makes this is Alloy Art Manufacturing. I believe they're stateside. So these are those bushings I'm talking about. And when you get the bushings, there is a little metal insert. Let's see if we can find the OG here. I keep everything. It's around. Oh, here we go. Nope, that ain't it. Sorry, guys. Kind of hoping to show you, but it kind of looks like this deal here. It doesn't have this. So this is a very, like, these are pretty soft. This is a very, very tough. I mean, I don't know if it's Teflon or what the heck it's made out of, but these are made for the M8 Touring, or this set for the 2011 and up touring bikes. And where these go is on the side where your swing arm is. You got these little caps, and that's your bushing. So if you look, this line's kind of in the way, but that is the bushing. So you have to undo this screw, pull out the stock one. You can slide this in, and you have to torque it all down. And what that does is it removes the play of your bushing. So here's the downside to those things. Because you're removing, or you're adding something stiff to it, you do feel more the vibration of the engine in your bike. So that rod for your swing arm passes through not only the frame, but also your transmission. So it goes through the rear transmission. I didn't do a video on the installation just because, to be quite honest, I wanted to get it done. I probably should have. It was a little bit of a bear. In the video that I saw, those guys actually pulled the rod, or whatever you want to call it. Shoot, I know there's a better word for it, but they pulled it out to put theirs in. I was able to put mine in without doing it, so I just undid each side. I will tell you, it's a bit of a bear, because if you spin it and the other side starts spinning on you, then while you're trying to torque one side, the other side gets loosened. And so yeah, I mean, it's not easy to do. It's kind of a pain, and there is no, at least for me, there was no magic trick to it. I kind of just tighten one side down as much as I could without, breaking anything, and then jump to the other side and torque that, and then went back to the primary side, loosened it a little bit, and then retorqued it, so that way I was actually at torque spec for both sides, because I don't like to mess around with that. So anyhow, I've only ridden a couple of miles on it, maybe 50 miles. It does feel like it solved the problem a little bit, but I'm still testing it out. Yeah, not quite sure. So I just want to make you guys aware of them. They're like 60, almost 70 bucks for those. If you're replacing the actual bushing themselves, then the bushings are about like $75 for the set. So it's a gamble, right? Oh well, either way, I'll let you guys know how it turns out. But let's talk about what I'm really here to talk about, even though I just can't shut up sometimes. All right, let's talk about stuff you do not want to break. So, doing the things I do, messing around, and I actually broke this cable that goes to my lock, right? And what I found out is you can't just buy the cable. You have to buy this whole plastic hardware thing. Now, the good news is it's cheap. So I got this off of eBay. I want to say it was like 40 bucks, and you get a full kit. So you get both sides, left and right for your saddlebags. And if you look, like the cable it's built into it, I guess, but it's already there. So I'm gonna swap these out, see if that works. You know, these are aftermarket, so hopefully everything fits and lines up. We're gonna find out, and then we're gonna have some extra parts because I'm not replacing the entire thing. All right, let's take a quick look at this kit before I start installing stuff. The kit, I gotta say, there's a lot of stuff. It literally has everything except for the outer shell. You get the hinges. They send you another set of locks, so if you need to replace your locks, you can do that. You got the little cloth that hangs onto the lid, keeps it from flipping all the way open. They've got replacement one-touch handles. Now you can pick if you want. I think they have the chrome, or you can get the you know, the gloss black to match up. I'll keep these, but I'm gonna keep mine because they're color matched. You get the little locking latch piece, and then of course the actual plastic hardware deal. So it's a pretty complete kit. I'm kind of impressed. So that's cool. So let's see if it fixes it though. All right, so taking it out, it's pretty simple, right? You just do the bracket that's holding it. So it's like 2 screws here, and then there's 3 screws here that go to that outer piece. Be careful, you could drop that. But yeah, as soon as you undo that, I mean, this is already kind of loose. It looks like there are 4 screws here that we need to undo. So we'll go ahead and do that real quick. All right, so I think I see why they don't sell the cable separate, because I mean, technically it looks like you could pull it out here and just fish it through this, but I'm guessing it's because of this mechanism here. They don't want to have to, even though you got a screw there, it looks like you can take it off, but I don't know, maybe we'll tinker with that later. So let's see if we could just put the new one in and be on our way. All right, looks like we're good to go on this, so we can go ahead and put this back on the saddlebag, and hopefully everything's good to go with the, I hope that's a standard size or something, but we'll find out. Okay, it looks like I've run into my first challenge, and that is this. Like I said, I was kind of hoping it would be a standard, but it's not the same size. It looks like this one is a little bit bigger, because it goes over it pretty easily, and this one is it's not. So I'm gonna use a small file and just kind of open up a little bit, because I think it's the width. It seems like, or not the width, but it seems like it's getting hung up on the threads. So I'm gonna open this up a little bit and then try to slide it on, and hopefully that'll resolve my problem and I'll be able to move on. So we'll see. All right, so as you saw, it took me a little bit of filing. You know, I had to pay really close attention because it's, you know, if you look at this, the lock, it's flat on two sides and then rounded. So I wanted to keep that same shape with this, but continue to open it. So I just had to use a combo of flat files and a round file. And this is like aluminum. It's pretty soft, so it didn't take too long to do, but I want to make sure I did it right and then I didn't, you know, mess anything up. So took the lock off just so it was easier to kind of, you know, put on and take off and see if it fit, test fit, and we're good to go. So I can put this all back together and we'll get it on the bike. All right, so challenge number, I don't know, 3, something like that. So I was trying to test out the locking mechanism to make sure that when I locked the lock, that it was locking the latch down here, and I was still able to open it. And I wasn't able to turn or rotate the lock far enough. So if you look, there's a little tab here that is used to, I guess, let it not spin all the way around. And this is the original. And what I noticed is when I compared these two, you can see this aftermarket one, it has a little notch there, and that's where it's stopping it. On this, and they actually make them in left, right, so you know what side's what. If you look though, there is no notch on this side, so I've got to hit that with the file to get rid of that notch, so that way it'll stop it and I can lock the bag all the way. So little things, nothing major so far. Obviously it's not a plug and play kit. Comes with a lot of cool stuff. I'm sure if you use their locks, it probably lines up just fine. The problem is I've already got an extra key. So I've got a key that's for the bike and these locks, and then a key for the tour pack. What I don't want is to have a key for the tour pack, a key for these, and then a key for the bike. Like, too much, right? 2 is my max. Anyhow, so let me go ahead and I'm gonna just file that down and we'll test it out. Okay, after taking the Dremel with the little grinding wheel on it, I was able to shave that thing in. I'll tell you, it was kind of a pain. But, you know, just being, I guess, hard-headed on my side and making it want to work, I was able to get it on there. So now I can lock it, so can't open it. I just got to put the bolt back on this. And I think for the 3rd time in this video, I'm gonna say, and now we're gonna put it back on the bike. All right guys, so finally it's back on. So it opens, everything bolts up fine there. So really the only thing that was a challenge was this little doodad there, and that is just opening it up a little bit more. But like I said, if you don't care about having a second key, maybe you don't have a tour pack, or maybe you're gonna go buy another lock set or whatever from Harley Davidson, then not a big deal. You can swap out to their locks, but it works without any issues. Close it, kind of lift up, you can open it, and then so now using the stock Harley key, I can go ahead and lock it, and that's locked. So there you go. All right, so there you go guys. All in all, you know, one of the things I like to ask myself after I do something where I have to like modify to make it work is, was it worthwhile, right? And I gotta say, for the price, and it wasn't like any of it was hard to do. It was just trying to figure it out. Like, okay, you go to put it on and man, it, you know, that little bracket's not open big enough, so I gotta file that down. Not hard to do, just need to know that you got to do it. And then to address that little notch deal, not hard to do, knock it out really quick with a Dremel. It's really just about figuring how much, right? Like you don't want to go too far or whatever it is, so that's where I was just being cautious. Although I was kind of comfortable in knowing that I had the other side, so if I had to, I can kind of, you know, probably make it work with the other cable if I ruined it or whatever. So I wasn't too worried. And ultimately, worst case scenario, you know, if I messed up, you know, 40 bucks, you know, 40 bucks is not anything to sneeze at. But it, you know, it's not something you want to, you know, you don't want to lose, but it's not as bad as if you invest, say, like $200 in a bag that you ruin, right? So whatever. So anyhow, I hope that kind of brings you some info if you're looking because you have a bad lock, or maybe, you know, you're looking to swap out away from your color matched brackets on the outside, whatever. Those kits are cheap. eBay, I'll throw the link in the description, so if you want to get the same ones. Like I said, everything else lined up pretty good. And then the last thing is, you know, I will be providing feedback once I get a couple more miles under my belt with those stabilizers to see how that works out. Right up front, I definitely do feel the vibration in the floorboard. It's not as bad as my 95 Softail Fat Boy was, but it's probably close to what my Road King is, and you know, it was a little bit more comfortable before. So I don't know, we'll have to see. The other big thing I've heard is people say that they like how it handles in the curves. I'm not a mountain guy, like I'm not cutting through. This is a, you know, big bike for me, and I'm not that kind of rider. You know, maybe if I had the T-bar set up and all that and I was into performance, it'd be my thing, but that's not my jam. So I'll just let you know from my perspective what it's like. If you are into the performance bagger thing, then this might be right up your alley because it does stiffen up the ride for you. So yeah, I'll let you know what I find out. Let me just get some more miles under my belt and I will circle back. So until that video does post, I hope to see you in the wind.